Now, let's talk about the MyPlate food guidance system. On the first slide that we looked at when we started this, we saw what was going on during the Depression, and then from the 50s to the 70s. In 1992 was the original food guide pyramid. Right? The base of the pyramid were your carbs, your starches, and your vegetables and fruits, your proteins, and then the top of the pyramid is what I used to call the dessert portion of the pyramid. Wouldn't be a pyramid without a point, but it was the smallest part of the pyramid. Unfortunately, people thought that this was considered a single serving, or that all this pasta was considered a single serving. So it turned out that it wasn't a really good teaching tool. So then in 2005, I came up with MyPyramid.gov, which was much more individualized. There were lots of different information you could get, tracking your information, figuring out children's needs. When you would click on these buttons, it would give you food tips, portion sizes. So indeed, if you had access to a computer, then you certainly could use this as a tool. Oh, and I also, activity. They included activity. However, that wasn't enough. And in 2011, we now have MyPlate.gov, where things are arranged on a plate. This also uses age, gender, activity, and optional weight and height to help you make decisions. You can go to this website and also look at Appendix C in your book and find out lots and lots of information. And I'm not going to go through all the information on each of these slides, but please look at them, because what you'll see is that for each portion of the plate, and our dairy over here, these slides and your textbook will tell you what foods are included, how large a serving size is, how many calories are in a serving, what the health benefits are of consuming these foods, and what nutrients are provided. I'm not asking you to memorize all this information. I want you to be able to use this information in assessing your diet. So these are grains. I'm sorry, that was grains. These are vegetables, fruits, dairy. Your textbook, Appendix C, will give you alternatives for those of you who are lactose intolerant or can't consume dairy products. Protein, oils, and fats. And actually, this is my favorite category, but you have to limit those. They're empty calories, or I like how they say they're discretionary, because when you consume too much of them, you're eliminating healthy foods, if you will, other foods that contain nutrients, and it can promote malnutrition. Doesn't mean you shouldn't have them, but you have to watch how much you have them. Lots of room for empty calories. And physical activity. And I mentioned earlier, this particular MyPlate, at least 30 minutes a day of activity. I find this to be much more realistic. I recommend 30 minutes cumulative, and these are different activities: moderate, vigorous, casual. So the MyPlate is a personalized diet plan based on age, gender, and activity. It encourages consumption of whole grains, vegetables, fruits, fat-free or low-fat milk or milk alternatives, low-fat meat, beans, and healthy plant oils. And it discourages the intake of sugar and solid fats, as well as discouraging a sedentary lifestyle. And last, we have the exchange lists. The original purpose for the exchange list was for diabetes diet planning. I use these a lot with diabetics. It's still used. The dietary carbohydrate levels can be planned that were compatible with insulin prescription, so this is why it's excellent for working with diabetics. And the prescription also meets standard dietary goals for health. What's different about the exchanges is that they're based on grams of protein, grams of carbohydrate, and grams of fat, and total calories. They're not looking at nutrients, not specific nutrients, but total calories. These are some of the lists, different exchanges, and what we mean by exchanges is that within each list, you can exchange one food for another. And, well, here, let me show you what that means. If we have an overview, starches. A serving of starch contains 15 grams of carbohydrate, 3 grams of protein, up to 1 gram of fat, and 80 calories. Anything that is in the exchange list for starch, as long as you're watching your serving size, you can have a third of a cup of rice, a slice of bread, 6 crackers. You can exchange one food for another. And these are the different lists: fruit, dairy, other carbohydrates, meats, fat, and then the free foods. This is a sample diet that provides around 1,700 calories, 55 to 60% coming from carbs, 15 to 20 from protein, and less than 30% from fat. The exchanges are used in diet planning and evaluation, and they differ from the other tools because they're based on grams of carbohydrate, protein, and fat, as well as calories. For class, I want you to write down everything you've eaten over a 24-hour period. Then I'd like you to go to this website, choose MyPlate.gov. Click on Super Tracker and Other Tools. It will take you to this page. Then what you need to do is click on your particular demographic, and what we'll come up with is this. What's called My Daily Food Plan. Go back to the first page and then pick your demographic for the worksheet, and that will give you a worksheet and fill it in. What we'll do when we get to class is discuss how well your 24-hour recall compares to what's recommended. All right? That's a plan. See you in class. Thanks.